What's going on, party people? My name is Solomon. I am an artist, and thus I go by Solomon the Artiste. Well. Today's the 22nd, which means that I am currently in my 21st day of this 21-day water fast. And I feel amazing. I feel excited. I feel triumphant. I feel powerful, you know? First of all, I apologize about that whole 18 and 19 day put together in one video collectively. I sort of felt like I had no choice. I was already, even though technically day 18 wasn't late because it came out on the proper day, it was still super late in the evening. And I just knew the way yesterday went that there was no way that I was going to come home and shoot 19 that evening. And it turned out to be worse than I expected, so there was no way that I was going to shoot that, you know. And I'm going to tell you about that because that all just led itself into, you know, this fast. So yeah, obviously by now at this, it's basically, we're getting to the end. So basically, you know, I talk about the previous day of the fast in these videos. So talking about day 20 of this 21-day fast. First of all, I struggled to fall asleep the 19th day after I put up that video, you know, because I was just thinking about the day's event, you know, the auditions for grad school and all that stuff. Just playing it out in my mind because, you know, that's a very heavy, you know, it's just one of those things where it's just, it was just heavy on my mind for obvious reason. So I struggled to fall asleep, and when I finally fell asleep, it was definitely about maybe 12:30, and I had to be up by 5 a.m. to be on time for work. So sure enough, I get up at 5, so I'm working basically on, call it 4 hours of sleep, if that, because I'm pretty sure I fell asleep after 12:30. Either way. Yeah. Either way though, I wake up and I get ready for work, and I actually was able to drive to work this day. And I'm just thinking, Lord, I don't know what it is out, like, I don't know what it's like out here, because I had to drive. I was working in Brooklyn, so I didn't know if I'd be able to find parking, all that stuff. I'm glad that I was able to drive to work because I didn't have to go through the ordeal of the train and walking in that ice, like below zero feeling weather to get to the job. It was like -7 that day, but according to the news and according to, you know, Google, it felt like the windshield was like -8 or -7. Either way though, like, and it felt like that, like it felt like your skin was like burning and tingling as you're walking through the streets. And I was padded up and I was still feeling that cold walking from the car to the job. So I'm feeling exhausted as is because I didn't get enough sleep. And then, you know, I have all these thoughts on my mind about the previous day. And man, alright, so let me just get into it. So I knew that part of my job, obviously I mention all the time, is that I have to just stand around at all times. I'm basically ushering people, and I have to just be available to answer any questions, to, you know, direct people here, there, wherever, and all that good stuff. And so this is the kind of gig where, yes, of course, you know, our bosses know that we're human. We're going to need to step away to use the bathroom here and there. But in my particular case at the moment, you know, where if I chug down the water, drink the water like I need to, or should be doing during this fast, I'm going to have to go to the restroom every 15 minutes if the time period is that long. Because, you know, here at home, I feel like I'm in the bathroom like every 5-8 minutes, to be honest, you know. And so, again, and because I knew that I'd be at work longer than normal, I had to find a way to be strategic with the water. So I drank water, I think I drank water, sipped water rather, right before the shift. And I figured, you know what, I know they're going to give us a break on this day, because our shifts are usually so short that we just work the shift and then go about our business. But when it's longer than normal, they do give us a quick 30-minute break or an hour break if it's, a certain length of time. Ironically, we never got a break. But I had no choice at one point to just tell a fellow usher, look, if they asked for me, just tell them I had to go splash some water on my face, because I didn't want to, again, whilst, I am water fasting, it's not something that I necessarily want to tell everyone, because the majority of it for me is a Christian thing. And it's not that you necessarily have to hide your fasting, but it's also not something that you necessarily need or want to broadcast. And so I was trying to be strategic and basically try not to lie. So I did want to actually splash my face with water, but really I was just gonna go to the bathroom and just put paper all over one of the toilet seats. Fortunately, this is a place where the bathrooms are immaculately clean. But I was going to just put down paper and just sit, even if it was for 5 minutes, because there was no way I was going to hear about it if I sat down in front of all those people. And this was an MLK event, so it was like it was a madhouse, basically. So that's what I did. I went and I sat down for about 5, 10, probably 15 minutes, and came back down. And the woman, the other usher that I told, that I was going to do this, she just looked so concerned. And I realized my face must have looked a certain way, and so I had no choice but to just tell her the truth. I've been on a 21-day fast, and I'm currently in day 20. So this is what's going on. And so she's like, when it comes to, she said something that never occurred to me. She said, this is a religious pursuit, and so you do have the right to ask for special accommodations whilst on this fast. And that never occurred to me. I know that's usually the case. That's always the case, when it comes to, say someone who's Jewish, and in a place where you're supposed to take your hat off, they can't take their, I believe it's a yarmulke. They can't take that off. It's part of their religious, duty, I guess. Whatever. The point that I'm trying to make is that, in other religions, they do, they have to ask, for accommodations. And it never crossed my mind as a Christian that we absolutely have the same privilege in certain instances, like this. But at the same time, I'm also that dude that's just like, I don't want to, I've had situations at work before where I've actually almost passed out before, and so and I realized after I passed out, my shifts became a bit fewer. They became fewer than normal, and so I really had to work my behind off to get back my shifts because I got bills to pay, and so I've always just tried to make my life work around the shifts that I do get, because I need to pay my bills so that I can still continue to audition and all that stuff. If my phone don't work, I can't hear from my agent. It's all a twisted thing, So either way, sorry, I got a little distracted. So basically, when I did go, so I ended up going to the restroom again a little later on. And speaking to the usher, and this is what, I went to the restroom after speaking to her, but she said, I told her that, I was fasting and everything, and the truth is I was feeling quite nauseous in that moment, and I didn't feel like I wanted to pass out, but I knew that feeling was going to come. And so I wanted to be strategic and step away beforehand, before that feeling could come over me fully. So I did tell her I was feeling a bit nauseous, and after I told her I was fasting, and she said everything that I told you she said, she also said, it looks and sounds like you're dehydrated, very dehydrated. And it was I don't know, it was like a ringing in my ear. When she said that, it was oh, that's right, because I don't think I drank like a sip of water before I left the house, and I left the house at about 5:50 something in the morning, and then I was there at the job, pretty much just working. And at this point, it was definitely after 9:30 because we started letting people into the venue. So I hadn't drank any water at all that whole day, and it made so much sense. And so I went upstairs where my locker is to go have a sip of water, but also to use the restroom. And when I tell you that, and this is how I knew she was right, and how I was just dehydrated beyond measure. I went and I urinated, and first of all, that much pee should not have come out of me when I haven't drank any water really since basically for that whole morning. But the pee was so rich in its yellow color. Like it was like golden, not even golden yellow, almost like a golden brown coming out. And I was like, that, I saw it and it just made me nervous. I was like, that is absolutely 100% not good at all, you know? And I know it's not good because well, first of all, your pee comes out, you know, yellowish golden if you're dehydrated to begin with. But for it to be so dark in color means that I was losing a lot of something. And the fact that I've only had water intake means that, well, I don't know what was coming out of my body. I mean, I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, because I do know that there's a such thing as too much detoxing. So it made me very nervous, but like I said, I just sucked it up and said I'm gonna finish out my 21 days. You know, I've come this far, I'm dedicated, and you know, the enemy's not gonna stop me. You know, and I just gathered all my strength and felt better in that moment and said, I'm just gonna make it through. So yeah, I make it through the rest of the day. As soon as the shift is over, I drank water like nobody's business, because you know I walk with my distilled water. It's important to me to drink distilled water for a reason. And so I do that. And I decide, all right, I'm gonna go. I was actually gonna stay after the shift was over and like watch a movie, because you know, working in this building, I can watch movies for free. And then I was like, you know what? No, I gotta get home. I gotta chug some serious water and just, you know, relax myself, because it was definitely a hard day. Every day feels like a difficult day whilst on this fast, you know. I walk to my car, and my car is not there. My car is gone. And you know, when you have one of those stupid moments where you're like, this can't be. There's another car parked where I left my car. And I'm like, this can't be. I know that's not the color of my car. But I'm also very tired. I'm definitely possibly seeing things. And I press the button of my car to unlock it. And it doesn't work, obviously. And I'm just there like, oh, snap. My car has been stolen. And I'm standing in this -7-degree feeling weather. So I call the police. Police never came, actually. They said that, you know, it's gonna take a certain amount of time before they get to me, asking me for addresses, you know, to where I'm at. And I'm like, I'm not even like in front of the building I work. I had to walk a couple of blocks to where my car was. And again, it's freezing cold, and I don't know if you've ever been in the cold long enough. Like, I promise you, like I got frostbite. You know, like I could not feel my fingers. Like holding my cell phone and pressing the buttons was a task. And then I don't know if you've ever been so cold where it's like you almost lose mobility, like just to even speak. And I just like had to really concentrate and really like focus on getting these words out. And I'm like apologizing on the phone, because I'm like, I'm sorry, it's, you know, it's so cold. Like I couldn't speak, basically, you know. And so something in my spirit was like, let me call and see if my car got towed, even though there's no reason for my car to be towed. Because where I parked, I had the right to park. There are other cars parked there as I'm standing there speaking to the police. You know? But I said, let me call. I'd much rather my car have been towed than stolen. It's so much cheaper to pay a towing fee as opposed to paying for a new car again, because this car is but 2 weeks old. Well, in my possession anyway. Sure enough, my car was towed, and I'm asking why. I wasn't parked anywhere illegally. What's going on? They had no answers. I took pictures of the spot, of the sign, of another car currently in that space and everything, and come to find out that where I was parked, like, even though people can park there for a certain amount of time, they like for the space to be open for truck loading. And so I just happened to get unlucky where, you know, that morning some truck wanted to unload something, and I guess I was in its way. So boom. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna argue it, because then I did eventually find the sign that said, truck loading. And again, and it was cheaper. It was cheaper than I expected it to be. I was thinking in my head, like, where the crap am I gonna find 500? But it was less than 200. So it is what it is. So I go. Yeah, it turned out that my car was towed, obviously, at this point. So I go pick up the car, but still it was an ordeal, because where the car was towed to, it was about 20 minutes away from my job. And I only have but so much money at the moment. Like, I had just paid some bills, and taking the train, it was like, so here's the thing, because I can be a bit stubborn. So as ice cold as it was, for me to get to the train, it would have been a walk to get to the train, and then getting on the train to get to the tow whatever area would have been. I would have to come off the train and then walk again to the tow whatever you call it, the parking garage, whatever. And so I could do that in 28 minutes, or I could just walk in 20 minutes. And I would have had to walk in the opposite direction to get the train. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to my job. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to thaw out. I'm going to charge my phone, because my phone was close to dying at that point. So that's what I did. I went and I sat down for about an hour, let my phone charge to 100, thawed out. Once it got to 100, bundled myself up real good. I had 2 scarves and everything. And I trucked it to the spot to get my car. I get there, give them the info they need, paid my money, and got to the car. They have a little police officer drive you to wherever your car is in the station. I opened the car, I turned the ignition, the battery is not working. I have to ask these people for a jump. Fortunately, they gave me the jump and literally gave me all the work to do. The guy says that, I don't know if he was telling the truth. I think he just didn't want to do it personally. Because his job is to, I'm not supposed to handle that equipment. But he tells me that his shoulder was fractured. And so if I could do the work of going into his toolbox that's attached to his tow truck, pull out the the jumper, attach it to the battery, plug it into the truck, because you have to plug their jumper into the front of their truck and all that stuff, and then I had to undo all of it and put it back into the I had to do all the work basically. And I really did I honestly don't believe that he had a fractured shoulder, to be honest. But I just wanted to get home. I was so annoyed and distraught and feeling very depressed at this moment. I just felt like it was just too much. You know, I just felt like I was tired. I was done. You know, and I had no, you know, and on top of that, you know, in this fast, you know, I really don't have much of any strength. And then of course, standing in that cold drained all the energy out of me to begin with. So fighting and having to, I had to really concentrate to put the jump on the jumper on the battery and to push it into the truck, because none of that was easy. And I wasn't even annoyed. I was just so depressed in that moment. I'm not gonna lie. And I say all of this, I know this is a long video today, but if you watch it through, thank you so much. This was the moment where I realized that food is truly an emotional experience for me. All I wanted in that moment was a bowl of Chipotle. A bowl of some spicy Chipotle. Or some Popeye's chicken. That's all I wanted. Some Chipotle or some Popeye's chicken, one or the other. And I really, in that moment, just thought, I've gotten this far. It's been such a long, hard, essentially bad weekend. I deserve it. I deserve some Chipotle. If not, at least just one good, big old, spicy chicken breast from Popeyes. And some Cajun fries. But I'm also not a quitter. So I just swallowed my pride and just prayed about it. You know? Yeah. So I came home. This car. So I'm realizing I make it sound like it's my car. It's not my car. I don't have a car. I can't afford a car right now. I chose to give up all luxuries to focus on my art, music, and acting. So the car, I was using my mother's car basically. So I had to also pick her up from work that evening, and she didn't get out until she doesn't get out till 11. She works in the medical field. And so I come home, I get home by about 6. I take like a 2-hour nap. And then I have to get back up and go back into the cold to pick her up, which I don't mind. Anyone who knows me knows I love my mother world without end. You know, she can have anything she wants from me. But still. But she also knows me. She knew that yesterday just depressed me. She knew me far too well, you know. And she's just conversing with me on the ride and telling me, you know, because she knows, obviously she knows that I'm, you know, fasting. And, you know, I come from a Christian family. She knows why I'm fasting, and she is just like telling me, you know, the enemy's trying to get you to quit, and, you know, you're a fighter, and just, you know, just denounce the enemy and everything. And so, you know, thank God for my mom. God bless her. But, yeah, that was my day whilst water fasting yesterday. And, you know, I know it's a long story, and I know it sounds like it's not necessarily connected to the fast, but it truly is. Because the fact is, my reaction to a lot of things would have been way different usually. I would have had a very heavier response to everything that happened yesterday. And I've mentioned, whilst on this fast, my psyche has changed a lot. I am someone who has suffered tremendously with depression, and I do find while on this water fast my mind is super clear. I'm so much more aware of everything going on around me and, you know, and within me, and I find that a lot of things that normally would have just, you know, destroyed me for the day or even for the week, a lot of things that would have just brought me down under heavy depression haven't really affected me at all, you know, with the exception of yesterday where I felt down. Maybe depressed is a stronger word than I should use, but I definitely felt down in that moment. But the thing is, I've never experienced getting over something, even something like yesterday of, you know, my car being taken away and all that stuff and having to go through that whole ordeal before I can get to the car. Normally that would have just torn me down for a good week, you know, but I was legit just over it on the drive home, you know, and it was about a 35-minute drive home, and it was just like, you know, it happened. I wish it didn't happen, but it happened. And what you gonna do, you know? Like even now, like I normally would have been like, you know, I'm not doing this video today. I'm tired. I feel down. I feel depressed. I feel just over it, and you know, but I don't feel like that, you know. And so yeah, this water fasting thing, it's not just for the physical. It is for the mental. It is for the for spiritual healing, you know. And so these are the reasons that it was important to me to document this fast. Yeah, so I don't know if you've actually watched this far. If you have, God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Yeah, I'm not just gonna keep talking. The point is, now that all of that happened during the fast, I'm sitting here right now drinking so much water. I have no plans of leaving the house today. Today I'm just gonna drink so much water and just allow myself to just relax and heal, and you know, really get a chance to read my holy word and to pray and to just completely enjoy this last day of this 21-day water fast. And I look forward to tomorrow, you know, talking to y'all tomorrow, having my watermelon. I ended up, my family, God bless them, went out and bought me a watermelon. So I'm gonna have my watermelon, have my cantaloupe, and just, you know, break my fast, you know, in this beautiful way, and just, yeah. So I'm gonna end this here. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.